All right, winners bracket round 2. This is going to be Hershey versus Morax. 1500 versus 1600. We got to see what faction. Oh, look, they're not Rex yet. They're civilians that have yet to be Control K'd by the map script. And there they go. That was a very opportune freeze. Morax has drawn Cybrin, and Hershey chose UEF at the start of the game. Looks like we got Land Factory first, Land Factory first. This is kind of interesting. Morax is probably going to be going for a full land build if he's building like that. Hershey, on the other hand, has reserved the Hydro slot. So this might end up being an air game. This slot gets double mechs adjacency, just like all of the other ones do, so you can get a lot of units on very little mass on this map, which is good since the expansions take quite a while to get to. But if you build on this slot, you also get adjacency to the Hydro, which can be useful for your air build. Engineers first, of course, moving over here to grab that Hydro, which it should be noted the ACU can build without moving, if I do recall correctly. Actually, I might be wrong on that. There is a move order place, but I am pretty positive that you can just barely reach the Hydro. Let's actually take a look at it here. Yeah, he is building it without walking. Okay, good deal. Wanted to be absolutely sure that I wasn't telling anybody wrong. Morax is going for a second land factory after he builds the Hydro, and he may actually stall out for just a minute because he did go for another factory before he remembered and built the Hydro, but now he has recovered from it. He will be building a couple more powers after he gets the factory, which is going to introduce some very interesting economy choices. Let's go take a look at this. He is minus 35, now goes to 34. He's having to pause to build his power generators. That is not good. That is not good at all, and he will not have enough power to run both of these land factories and the air factory like he is doing. He is getting Mano Reclaim in the back, Mano Reclaim down the side, and has also gone for early aggression. I think Morax might be suffering from a case of the I want to do everything and therefore can't do anything syndrome. Hershey, on the other hand, is looking quite good. He's at plus 43 power with 3k in the bank and is balanced on mass. Has got engineers out first in order to secure his outlying mass extractors so that he can get his economy rolling much more quickly. And this power is going to be useful because he's about to bite into that air factory build, which is going to probably put him, well, no, it is not going to put him in the negative. So he might actually have a little too much power. When he does start building air, though, he will get knocked down a peg on his power supply. Got to memorize those keystrokes. I should set up a macro for that. That would be a smart thing to do. Morax finishing off his power build. He now has everything rolling that he needs, but that has been a very slow start. We've already got 5 mass extractors down, 2 raiding parties out, 3 engineers total running out, and his ACU is moving over to the left-hand side to expand into these 3 mass extractors with a bunch more land production. While on the north side, Morax has not gotten out of his base yet, and he is building a total of 4 land factories inside his home base, not taking advantage of the double adjacency though, just kind of randomizing his build out here, which is very, very odd. Hershey taking advantage of the double adjacency as much as possible, also calling out a rip probably because he tried to get a scout across and it was picked up by that interceptor, if I am judging by the sound of the game correctly. Sometimes you got to kind of guess from those audio cues, and sometimes you might be wrong. I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me if I was. So there is a hunter on the left side, which should be easily countered by the ACU because we all know that hunters can't stand up to a commander. Literally a one-shot kill. Mechs going down for Morax on the opposing side. And most of the rest of this is looking pretty normal. Maybe Morax will be able to recover from that slow start. He's already got 4 factories down with a 5th building, whereas there's only 2 with a 3rd building for Hershey. So while his overall income may be slightly lower, he did make up for it with a lot of early reclaim, which I didn't really see that much of from Hershey. He simply patrol ordered his engineers. And this will result in an overwhelming land presence for Morax early in the game. Now later, Hershey's better developed economy might do some good things for his unit production. But for right now, we're going to be seeing a lot of orange. There is an early bomber out, which will not get countered because the factory is somewhat locked, it would appear. There's an interceptor right here, which is going to get off some shots. Pink interceptors moving in. They did pick up the bomber. I did not actually see that. There were some inties over here somewhere that were able to sight that. And now air belongs to Hershey. Good job on that one. Mech Marine harassing a mass extractor, but that will die pretty much immediately. And now the ACU has control of the expansion and will start building more land factories. So if we're looking at the total number of tanks, we've got 6, 8 over here, and we have about maybe 10 to a dozen pouring out of this side. So looks like Hershey's unit count is very rapidly catching up, and he does have 5 land factories down with a 6th and a 7th coming. We now have 5 on this side with a 6th on the way, and there's the 7th over there. So now these guys are looking very similar. Morax behind about 400 in score, which is not a huge deal, but he does have a nice clump of tanks right up on the front line that is going to be able to eradicate the streaming units coming out of Hershey's base. A lot of tanks in one spot, very few tanks in one spot, although the same in total number. These will lose. So from here on out, we're going to start seeing a lessening in the lead of Morax since he had those earlier land factories online. Hershey is now outstripping him in production. We've got radar going up back here, which is actually a very good idea because there's potential for run-bys and drops in the rear. And there's also a radar on this side, which will be able to pick up any incoming units. Looks like there are 2 of those things that I just described. Just enough tanks right here to pull a little bit of a denial on Morax's raiding units. Those are going to withdraw over here. These 2 Mantises will, at a minimum, be able to pick up the radar, and a mass extractor may be able to move into the back and pick up engineers as well. We will just have to see how well that is handled. Hershey moving out, he decided not to build all of those land factories that he queued, possibly for economic reasons, and he's now moving his ACU over to this side to gain that reclaim, which Morax picks some of it up, but he left all of those behind that are 45 power wrecks, so I'm not entirely sure what is going on there with his thought process. That actually aptly describes several things that have happened in this game. Morax rocking 2,000 reclaim, not enough power, and roughly 32-ish income, maybe 31. It's hard to tell when you have the power stall. Hershey, on the other hand, only pulling in 17 mass per tick and 460 power. He's asking, can you not? Of the other player, yeah, this is not going to be good at all. He got the radar online just in time to see all of those units pouring into his base, and he will not be able to get his ACU over there in time to pull a denial. Medusa is also in this mix, which is going to absolutely wreck those land factories. If he eliminates the build power, he will have a huge leg up on the competition because no units will be being built to oppose him. Looks like we've got the 1 land factory only on this side, ACU moving up to the front line as he more fully supports, or fully controls the map, I should say. So we have a total of 8 land factories for Morax. That would be 9 because I missed that one up at the front. While we have 5, 6 factories for Hershey, who is now rapidly falling behind in score. This is not looking good at all. I can't believe that Morax was actually able to pull off a win with that catastrophic of a failure of an early build order. Probably just a little bit superior knowledge of how the map works, a little bit better implementation of combat with the units that he had. Hershey still does have a fighting chance. There are some tanks moving around the back side, but he does still have plenty of engineers in the base, and it looks like we've got another case of the ghetto gunships coming online. There's not any mobile anti-air anywhere, and it looks like Hershey does still have enough interceptors to secure air control, especially considering that these transports will be meat shielding. So we might actually see something good happen. The ACU is over on this side. I am not sure whether this is going to be a last-ditch effort to snipe the commander or whether this is going to be a play for more map control, but one way or the other, Hershey is about to get sandwiched between about 40 T1 units, and that is a recipe for doom if ever I have seen one. He should have run back into his base across the water where the Mantis cannot chase him, but alas, that is not going to happen. He's running that direction now. Nope, he is placing a very short-sighted move order. That Shift G move from Morax was intended to capture the ACU. If only there had been an overcharge available, Hershey could have overcharged approximately a dozen Mantis with one hit, but that is not going to happen. More transports out. That is a total of 4. There's our 6 mech marines. Oh, 5 transports. There was one on the other side as well. Those are moving over this way. Does he actually know where the ACU is? I don't think he does, and he's lost his radar coverage on the front line, so I don't think he will be able to gain that knowledge very quickly. Morax diving into the reclaim on the other side of the map. He's going to pick up that mass and use it to his own ends. He's also securing the top side expansions on the mesas in the diagonal corners of the map. So he is bent on finishing out this game strong. Interceptors moving towards the middle over that way. He needs to get on that commander soon if he is going to be able to kill it. Morax's interceptor number, of course, keeps on growing as transports have been built for the last several minutes out of that air factory from Hershey instead of interceptors. Does look like we have 4 fully loaded transports moving around the right-hand side, looking for an opening. Scouts are out. He's looking for the ACU. That is exactly what's going to happen. This is bad, though. Hershey has engaged air with Morax without the help of the transport for a meat shield. He is going to lose air, and that single misstep has probably cost him the game. He could have potentially hit Morax. Morax is now running directly for the water. He saw the air engagement and the scouting, looking for his ACU. I don't think he actually scouted the transports, but he knows something is amiss, and he is now going to hide in the water. There's no reason to risk your ACU when you have the game in hand. The map is now looking very orange indeed. Hershey calling out, "Come at me, bro." Yeah, I don't think that Morax is that dumb. Morax is going to hide in the water, which I think is, yes, that is deep enough to hide an ACU in. He will not be able to be seen. Ghetto gunships hold no power here. Bloop, he's gone. Ground fire from a bomber would definitely hit that, but it is too deep for the ghetto gunships to target. Ghetto gunships moving out to the right. Looks like we got point defense going down in the outside corners to help secure the control that he so desperately needs to keep a hold of. Interceptors now moving down and to the right. He's seen those transports on this radar. That is not going to be a target, though. He has moved over here on an attack move, and now he's got an air scout with these transports in radar coverage. Interceptors moving over to this side. They are going to be able to pick it off, and now the unit count is too overwhelming for Morax. Hershey has no tanks left. He's only got his commander, and his transports are getting shot down. It was a desperate effort. It might have worked had he engaged air correctly, but alas, it was not meant to be. That's the bad thing about a mech marine surviving when the transport gets shot down. Even if it does survive, the crash damage from the transport deals more than the total HP on the mech marine. So there are no mech marine survivors. Alright, that was Morax versus Hershey. Kind of a comeback if you look at the beginning build on that game. But I don't know. Hershey failed to follow through on the obvious advantages that he had. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.